Headline news most affecting Chilliwack this week. The annual ritual for bookworms, the Rotary book sale, starts this Sunday. You can sing, and not just in the shower. A local author and songwriter and song coach will explain that. Halloween will be soggy as we are expecting not one, but two atmospheric rivers. And while the Huskers season may be over, Friday football continues for the Sardis Falcons and the G.W. Graham Grizzlies. Josh will have more in sports. Our special guests this week include Matt Paisley with an appropriately scary welcome, Matt. You want to see this. Andrew Crosbie with Rotary Corner. Councillor Sue Knott and her final Councillor's Corner, Chilliwack City. Kyra Esau-McGahey and the Chilliwack School for the Performing Arts and what they are up to for a fundraiser. As well, mortgage specialist Don Krossa from RBC. All right, Chilliwack, let's get started. It is the annual pilgrimage to fill your bookshelves prior to the Christmas season. The annual Rotary book sale starts on Sunday. It runs through next week at Heritage Park. Andrew Crosbie with Rotary will be joining us later in the show with another edition of Rotary Corner. Sue Knott will be making her final appearance on Councillor's Corner, Chilliwack City with an update on city programs, and we'll be speaking with Sue on the upcoming hospice celebration, the Thrifty Boutique Fashionista Fashion Show. That's Wednesday, November the 16th. That conversation in a few minutes' time. Fraser Health and the BC Centre for Disease Control have launched a text alert system to keep people aware of toxic drugs in specific areas of the province. That includes the Valley. Text notifications now sent to subscribers who want timely information about illicit substances and increases in toxic drug poisonings in their area. Now, subscribing is rather easy. You simply text the word join to 253-787 or simply go to Fraser Health's social media for all that information. Managed by the BC Centre for Disease Control, the Toxic Drug and Health Alert System is rolling out across the province to help prevent toxic drug poisonings and OD deaths. Now, it is anonymous, it is free, although standard message and data rates may apply. Chilliwack School for the Performing Arts presenting their fundraiser entitled Destination Broadway. This will be at the Chilliwack Cultural Centre Saturday, November the 5th. CSOPA calls this music and entertainment from Broadway shows and a silent auction between the arts. Tickets are available through the Cultural Centre website. Kyra Esau-McGahey with CSOPA will be joining us for an interview in just a few minutes' time. Chilliwack's Lori Paul, an accomplished musician, a Juno nominee. She and her husband, Rick Gange, operate Spider Lodge Studio in town and teaches music. She's now, she always has been a songwriter, but now an author of a new book, A Singer's Playbook for Late Bloomers and Okay Boomers. Well, Lori Paul says anybody can sing, and your voice is an instrument you can take anywhere. Don't be afraid to use it, and with a little bit of practice, you'll be better than you think you are in the shower or singing along in your vehicle. And I quote, "Singing is a bona fide self-care practice that will allow you to make something beautiful for the world." If you want her book, it's now available through Amazon and Kindle. Don Krossa is a mortgage specialist who has been with RBC since 2002, and while the real estate market has had its share of ups and downs this year, one thing is for certain: if you are able to buy a home, you do need some sound financial advice. Krossa will be joining us in a few minutes on his view of the market. The fourth annual Fraser Valley Off-Road Toy Run and Food Drive is in Harrison Mills this year. It's coming up November the 5th and 6th. The main event staging area will be behind the Sasquatch Inn. Now, there is a Facebook page for information if you just want to drop off a donation for kids. And a reminder that if you do want to participate in this run, you do have to sign a waiver. The easier of the two off-road runs will be on the Sunday, which is November the 6th. FVRD updating their official community plan for Electoral Area C. The plan area spans from the Harrison River east of Desroches, and that includes Morris Valley, Harrison Mills, Lake Erock, and eastern portions of Desroches Beach. Now, the 20-year plan will look at housing and the environment. All you have to do is go to the FVRD website for details on how you can make your comment on this OCP. It's back on set. Watch feature films, documentaries, short films, creator panels, and more for just $9.99. It is the 6th edition of the Chilliwack Independent Film Festival. It returns with 64 films across 15 screening blocks. You can enjoy the festival in person this November, the 18th to the 20th, at the Cottonwood 4 Cinemas with industry events at Cowork Chilliwack. You can also experience the festival virtually from the comfort of your home. That starts November the 21st and runs to December the 4th. All that information is on the festival website, ciff.ca. This is when the lake lights up, and we're not talking about lightning. It's the 2022 Cultus Lake Christmas at Main Beach, Saturday, November the 26th. Starts at 4 o'clock. You can take a photo with the Clauses, Mr. and Mrs., shop the local artisan vendors, and sip a little hot cocoa on the side. The Christmas light display will illuminate at 4 o'clock, and that will turn Cultus Lake Park into a winter wonderland. Now, the Cultus Lake Fire Department will be roasting marshmallows. This event supports the Salvation Army Food Bank, and yes, you can bring your non-perishable and essential goods to this event. Parking will be by donation, and that is for the Community Events and Engagement Committee of Cultus Lake. Halloween is definitely not complete without a trip to Reaper's Haunted Attraction at Fantasy Farms. It billed as the longest-running haunt in BC. Get it? Well, ghoulish Gary Moran and his scary family invite you for the Fright of Your Life, which is the 30th year of fear, and we dare you to go to the Reaper's Maze of Terror. Weekend admission $30, and remember, it's a local event, not something from out of town, and guaranteed to scare the ghoul out of you. After the break, Matt Paisley with The Welcome Mat, your Chilliwack real estate update. Sue Knott and her farewell Councillor's Corner. Andrew Crosbie and the Rotary book sale. Kyra, Esau-McGahey and an update on CSOPA. And Don Krossa with RBC Mortgages and an interest rate update. And then Josh with sports.
As we approach Halloween, if you're a seller, you probably find the current real estate market super spooky. But did you know that high prices and higher interest rates aren't the only thing that scares potential buyers from the market? Some properties can have a dark past and a stigma attached that make buyers run the other way. A stigmatized property is one that buyers may shun for reasons that are unrelated to its physical condition or features. This can include the death of an occupant by murder or suicide and a belief that a house is haunted. While rare, Chilliwack does have a history of some hauntings. During the fall of 1951, in a nondescript little house near the crossroad of Brooks and Broadway Avenues, reports of a ghostly haunting were the talk of the town. The owner started complaining of mysterious banging noises, strange knocks, and rapid pounding sounds in the middle of the night. The disturbances lasted through the fall and winter. Police, psychic mediums, water diviners, and even the mayor all came to investigate, but no one could figure out what was causing the sounds. Interestingly, the owner of the home even began to speculate that a neighbor and a family member were the cause of the ghostly sounds in an attempt to get the resident to move out and sell the home. The supposed haunting lasted through the winter, then as quickly as it began, it was over, and there was never a resolution to the haunting. Over a decade later, a house close to the corner of William Street and Portage Avenue made local and international headlines. Soon after moving into the home in December of 1965, the resident knew something was not quite right with the home. Footsteps up and down the stairs, and the sounds of furniture dragging across the floor in the middle of the night were the first signs of trouble. The resident, a portrait painter, also began having recurring terrible nightmares of a mummified woman lying motionless in the home. Before long, a ghostly mist taking the shape of a human began appearing in front of the residence, many times accompanied by the chilling sound of deep breathing. The resident felt a strong need to paint what she saw in her dreams and was appearing in front of her as a ghostly, misty apparition. Each evening, she would sit down to paint the woman's portrait before going to bed. However, to her horror, every morning the painting would have changed ever so slightly as it tried to morph into the painting of a man, and inexplicably developing a mustache on one such morning. Rumors of a man committing suicide in the home and a woman being murdered and interred into the chimney were some of the reasons given for the cause of the events. Once the media found out about the hauntings, news spread fast, and before long, not only was the story big news locally and across the province even, it was also being read about in newspapers in Brazil and Japan. After the painting was removed from the house, the haunting seemed to stop. The house changed hands several times over the years. In one of the transactions, the listing realtor even used the excitement of the hauntings as a marketing tool to gain interest in the property. Sadly, the house met its demise by catching fire in 1975 and burning to the ground. In its place, several new homes have been built. Sometimes I wonder if those new homes have had any ghostly experiences of their own. But the most terrifying story for all and many residents happened just this past year, when the average price of a single-family home in Chilliwack increased to just over $1.2 million. However, the ghosts of economies past have come back, and prices are falling more in line as the new average home price is closer to $900,000 now. That's all for today, folks, and don't forget, if you or someone you know is looking for any real estate help in the future, please don't hesitate to call. I'm never too busy for your referrals. Thanks for watching,
and bye for now.
chillTV's News of the Week, continuing with our monthly edition of Councillor's Corner, Chilliwack City. The swan song for you.
Aww.
It's not that you're retiring, well, you're retiring from one job as city councillor, but you're still around with hospice and a few other things. Sue Knott. I still have to say Councillor Sue Knott because you got the gig for at least another week or so.
I think so, yeah. And then it's done.
And then it's done.
Then I'm just Sue Knott.
Okay, now, budgets. We've got confirmation or consultation coming up. So what do we, forgot, got to introduce
Phoebe.
Phoebe, thank you. Now, Sue and Phoebe will explain the consultation on budgets.
So the city, as it does every year, is asking for input on our 10-year financial plan. So the residents are always a huge part of this process. We want to make sure that we do get feedback. And we have a really cool system where they can actually go in and say, okay, you have this certain amount of money, how would you allocate it?
Yeah.
And it's a fun little thing to do, but it also really helps City Council and the financial staff at City Hall to kind of figure out what the priorities are for the city. You behave yourself. So it's an online budget engagement tool called Citizen Budget.
Okay.
And where you can learn about how your tax dollars are used, rate current service levels, which is super important.
Yeah.
I know there's certain things that usually rise to the top every year, but you know, sometimes they change, and it's a good thing to keep up to date with that. And so if you want to take our survey, it's at chilliwack.com/budget. And lots of people do it, and it's a really good exercise, and it helps us a lot.
Radon test kits, that's back in the news. What happened? Why?
I think radon is something that naturally occurs. It's basically everywhere. There is an organization now, it's called Take Action. We're doing Take Action on Radon Challenge, and we are partnering with, now I have it written down here somewhere, another organization. And basically what we're doing is we're providing test kits for people who want to see how much radon is in their houses.
Yeah.
I mean, there's particulates in the air, there's all sorts of things that are in the environment that you live in. So radon is just one of them. And if you want to see what the levels of radon are in your home, we're going to provide you with a free test kit. And all you have to do is use it, and it'll tell you sort of where you stand.
One thing that we always mention every year, it's one of the reasons why the little munchkin is here. Of course, I have my cat with his Facebook page, Peanut. They hate firecrackers and fireworks. Halloween, we got to deal with this.
Yeah, and you know what? I think I actually hate them more because every single year, children are burned really badly. People's houses go up in flames. Their hedges, sheds. This year in particular, I mean, we've had the driest year in years.
Yeah.
And so you think of. First of all, fireworks are illegal in Chilliwack.
Yeah.
It's illegal to sell them, I believe. It's also illegal to buy them, and it's certainly illegal to use them. But the circumstances of disaster, all sorts of things, like animals get really spooked by them. I look at, obviously my little dog, I don't want anything to happen to her, but other dogs, they get spooked by them, they take off, they get hit by cars. There's, all sorts of terrible things that happen every year because of fireworks. So I think that people who are still using fireworks are very selfish.
Okay, and we'll leave it at that. Now, Seroptimist, we've got something that we got to mention, and there's still tickets for an event coming up.
Yes, well, it's a thing where you go online and you apply for a bursary, and you need to be a woman who is the breadwinner for the family, who has dependents and is going back to school, or you're already in school. But the really great thing about this, a lot of bursaries, you can only use the money for your actual tuition. This bursary, as long as you are the sole provider for dependents, and you are already registered in school, you can use this money for food or for books or for things for your kids or just to survive so that you can stay in school. And so that's a big difference from a lot of different bursaries. And the deadline is actually November the 15th. There's lots of information on it. If people want to reach out to me directly, I'm more than happy to take that. It's SueJKnott at Gmail.
Okay.
At gmail.com. And I'll certainly get back to you with all or you can go to the Seroptimist website, and there's a portal there. It's really super quick. You just go on and apply for it, and, we would like to give out some bursaries locally, so.
Back just a couple of weeks ago when we had our election coverage here, we were kind of giving you the gears that after 14 years, this is it. On Tuesday, November the 1st, the swearing-in ceremony for the new council. You're not going to be there. It's going to be kind of weird.
Well, it's going to be kind of weird for me, for sure. But I will be there because I'll be watching.
Yeah.
Because I cannot tell you how thrilled I am at the people that were elected. I think you've got a great team there. They're going to do an amazing job for Chilliwack. I have absolutely no concerns about leaving my role with the city now. It has been a huge labor of love for me, and I'm not saying that I won't ever try to come back. Maybe I will one day. Maybe I won't, but...
You heard it here first.
But, I'm very involved in the community. I'm vice president of Seroptimists. I'm very involved in the Chilliwack Hospice Society and the Federation of Fraser Region Hospice Societies. I'm the vice president of that organization. So I have lots to keep me busy. I'm still working.
And a mom.
And a mom. Yeah, my little baby. Say hi. No fireworks. No fireworks.
Sue Knott, you are always welcome here, even though you don't have the soon to be, not the old job.
Yeah. Thanks, Tony.
You're welcome. And you're watching chillTV's News of the Week. chillTV's News of the Week in conversation with an old friend of chillTV's from CSOPA, the Chilliwack School of the Performing Arts, and that is Kyra Esau-McGahey. I finally got it right. We got a bunch of really cool stuff coming up, and one of which is a fundraiser. Now, is this the 5th fourth time you've done the fundraiser?
We've done it a whole bunch, but this is the first time that we are back doing it post-pandemic because we haven't been able to run it for 2 years.
Right.
So we're really excited that we can finally run it again because we need this fundraiser. We're a nonprofit.
Yeah, and anybody who is a part of a nonprofit will understand this. A little bit about the school, about SOPA, that for those who don't know anything about it.
Yes, so Chilliwack School of Performing Arts, we are a pre-professional youth theater program, nonprofit, serving the community with theater classes. Our main stage class is our flagship program, so they perform a big show every year in January. This year we're doing Cinderella. Yep, and they are currently working on Destination Broadway, which is our fundraiser to get us through the whole year. And our main stage class, they are putting this production together, and it's a variety show. So they're doing kind of Sonny and Cher style little bits and bobs here and there, and we've got some humor, we've got some songs, a touch of dancing even. A couple students are going to tap. Cool. And so we've got a whole bunch there for everyone to come see, and we have a silent auction as well.
When you talk about nonprofits, and will always be the cynics that say, okay, well, you get all these grants. Well, you don't. And that's, and then there's ticket prices for the shows, and some people may groan about that, but that only pays for basic costs.
Yeah, as a theater nonprofit, we are kind of a niche market. And so there are a lot of grants that we apply for that we don't end up qualifying for because we are offering a service to the community, trying to get education for young people that's affordable. But because they see it as a service, then we end up not getting the grant. So we're really using this fundraiser to get as much of that money to keep our school open as possible. We want to keep our tuition as low as possible. We want to be as affordable and accessible to as many people as possible. So we use the profits from our shows to keep our doors open and to keep those costs low. So,
okay. And a little full disclosure here, because I am very biased. About 45, 50 years ago, I was with Theatre Richmond Youth Company, so SOPA is near and dear to my heart.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah.
Good, we love that.
And now Destination Broadway. So are we expecting show tunes, a chorus? I'm showing my age. A chorus line?
So we've got it's the variety style show, and it's on November 5th. Yeah. And there will be some bits that are smaller, and then we'll have the whole studio come out to sing a big song. Not a chorus line, I apologize. No. They'll be singing a bit from Shrek.
Dance 10, look... Okay, I'm really showing my age.
We love that. Dance 10, looks 3.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, I know you. I got you. Yeah, I started in dance and then moved to theater. So chorus line is where I'm at.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we'll have a couple of dance pieces. You'll have to wait to see the big dance numbers in Cinderella in January.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're doing a lot of waltzing.
You said a Sonny and Cher thing. What have you got planned? Or
well,
you really piqued my interest here.
Well, they've got this variety style. So, and one of our students loves a good pun, and so he will be leading with his puns.
Love it. Now, the average age of the student, there is, I mean, obviously I can't go there because I'm too old. But was it 5 to 19, 8 to 24?
Yeah, we are a youth theater program, but youth is in the heart, so you're always welcome to come hang out. But primarily, our classes start at age 5 and go up to 19, and flagship program main stage sits between 12 and 19.
Now, is it just acting and singing, or stagecraft as well, or?
In the spring semester, they do stagecraft as well. We want a well-rounded performer when they leave. So we will be doing workshops in our spring semester so that they can learn backstage programming. And our main stage students often stage manage our younger shows, like the junior programs and our intermediate programs.
Yeah, for those who don't know stagecraft, we cheat on television. We have green screen and all this technology, but you actually build sets with stagecraft.
Yeah, we build sets, we build props. We have all of the design elements, lighting and sound and all of that to do. And so our students learn aspects of all of that, as well as tap classes and singing classes and jazz and lyrical and acting and all of that.
And I'm still thinking stagecraft here, because when you're getting building materials in this day and age, it's got to be expensive, or are you getting donations for that to help out? Like here's a ton of plywood. I don't know what you can do with the 2x4s, but go.
We used to. We haven't in years. We'd be very happy to get that. GNW in Vancouver builds our sets for us. Okay. But any donation would be more than welcome. Lumber is super high cost right now, so we're trying to do as much with flats as possible. We also want to be as eco-friendly as possible, making sure that we're using products that then we can reuse.
Now, getting back to because everybody wants to be a ham on stage, is there anything up and coming after Destination Broadway? And you mentioned Cinderella. Anything else down the road in 23 that we should keep an eye on?
Yeah, so we have Cinderella in January 2023, and then we have our festival in May of 2023, and that's all of our younger classes. So our junior year 2 and year 3 both put on small performances, and our intermediate classes both do performances. And of course, we love that we have a class called Devise Theater. They write their own show. They put it all together, and so they are developing that, and that'll be in the festival as well.
And is there a writing class right now, or is that developing? Or
yeah, that class is a writing class, so they do the show themselves, and they do a whole bunch of writing.
Okay, and SOPA has all the social media, the website, the whole nine yards.
We do, and we are SOPA on Instagram, and I was introducing our main stage team on Instagram last week, and I'm currently working on introducing our school crew. So we're just introducing all of our wonderful staff. We've had a turnover, a bunch of new people come in, including me as the new artistic director.
Yeah. Congratulations on the gig.
Thank you. No, I'm absolutely loving it. It's the best job in the world, and I've been there for years in other roles, but this one has been the best. So
very cool.
Yeah, very excited.
Kyra, as always, you're always welcome here.
Thank you so much.
All right. And you're watching chillTV's News of the Week.
Thank you.
chillTV's News of the Week, continuing with our conversation now with Don Krossa, who is a mortgage specialist with RBC. And we taped this a little bit in advance for broadcast. So literally just hours ago, Don, Bank of Canada, I'm going to read off of their media release, increasing its target for the overnight rate to 3 3/4%, with the bank rate at 4%, deposit rate at 3 3/4%. The bank is also continuing its policy of quantitative tightening. As the mortgage specialist, in somewhat plain English, what happened, and are we in trouble?
Actually, believe it or not, I think that only going up by 50 basis points was actually a good thing. If we were expecting more like the 75% basis points, which would have meant that it would have been a continual increase. I think this is probably going to be our last increase for the year. Fingers crossed that is. I don't have a crystal ball, so I can't actually promise that. But I think this, by going up 50, is actually, the Bank of Canada is actually taking that moment to actually hold and slow it down a bit. Because if it had gone up to the full 75 that they were speaking of, I think it would have been more of a slam on the economy. But I think this is actually a positive thing that's only gone up by 50. The reality is we were expecting this for a while now. We are in some, tight times, but we are going to see this through. And again, I don't see us ever going back to the 80s, where we're seeing 14, 15%. But I think the cap they were looking at was a 7.25. But last time I read anything from the reports, but I don't see that even going to that level. I think we're actually going to be pretty good. Fingers crossed.
Well, yeah, it seems kind of comforting that you said that you literally saw this coming. Quote, and again, I'm quoting the Bank of Canada media release. In Canada, the economy continues to operate in excess demand and labor markets remain tight. Can you look in a crystal ball and see how long this stress is going to last, or is this anybody's guess?
No one can actually look in the crystal ball. Most of the stuff I'm reading these days is 3 years, 2 to 3 years, and then we're going to start seeing the reduction. But again, there is no crystal ball. It could be anyways to 5 years. But again, it's back to I think Canada's in a good position. We have been safe. We're safer than most banks in the other country in the world. So I think that we're going to actually be fine. It's just a matter right now we're having a bit of a hiccup. But this was expected. The government has been expecting this for a couple of years now. That's why they've been putting in the asset tests to make sure that we are not putting the people into a financial jeopardy by giving them mortgages they can't afford.
You brought up an interesting point about Canada's economy. In the grand scheme of things, we do okay, and I harken back to 2008 with, and correct me on this, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac and what happened in the States, and I know there was a ripple effect. I was working for a major broadcast company in Vancouver at the time. They used that as a way to start laying people off. Is it apples and oranges from that in '08 to what we're seeing now, or is this COVID related and it's a total different landscape?
It is a different landscape. It is probably more COVID than anything. The
Yeah.
stuff that happened a while back with the Fannie Mae, we're looking at, they were lending to people if you breathed, if you had air, if
Yeah.
you were taking in air, you were going to get a mortgage. We in Canada have never been that way. We actually have always been confident in ensuring that we have our 32% GDS, 40% TDS. With the, everyone has exceptions, but we've always been pretty hard lined with that. When that happened, the bank or the Canadian government probably went a little bit too harsh by throwing in these larger asset tests by making sure that we're going to be in a better position. So in a way, the government has positioned us to be in a good position for when this happens.
Ironically, that same organization and that news radio station I worked for, they were running literally about an hour before our conversation. I don't know if it was an editorial or not, but stating that because of this rate, maybe it's overreaching. Because of this rate, some people will simply say, "I've had enough. I'm selling my house." Is that a knee-jerk reaction? Is that overreacting? Or are there going to be people that are going to say, "That's it. I'm done. White flags up."
There always is that possibility. Again, I don't think it's going to be bad as back in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's going to be a situation where people, the reality is we're going to see a correction in the market. We're seeing a correction in the market right now. We're seeing appraisals coming in less than the value of the purchase price because the market is changing. And with the fact that this is now a buyer's market, not a seller's market, you're going to see that change. And that's in any time when you have that cycle, it is political. It is continually circling a buyer market to being a purchaser's market or a seller's market. So right now, yeah, the prices are coming down. People have to make that decision, but hopefully they put themselves in a position where they can afford this type of increase in rates. Uh, Most people now, they're looking at starting to sign up for a long term, or everyone's doing the 1 year renewal or a variable mortgage. People are now looking at going, okay, well maybe it's time for me to do a 3 year and ride this out in the rates we're in right now, setting themselves up for success and not failure. So I don't think I don't believe there's going to be a panic sell, and I don't think there's going to be a panic loss of market, and people are going to be handing their keys in. Back in the 80s, when I had people throw keys across the counter at me because they wanted it, they couldn't afford their homes anymore, and I don't think we're going to be in that position. I think we've set ourselves up for success, and hopefully, again, I don't own a crystal ball, so I'm just more optimistic, I guess, than than most economists.
With all that said, what do you say to someone coming into your office, whether it's the first time mortgage or a renewal? What are you going to say to them now, as considering what has happened this week with Bank of Canada? I would think, I wouldn't say take a baby pacifier and say it's okay, chill down, but obviously you're going to have a few people that are going to be very nervous.
Oh yes, we actually have them. We've had them for a while now since rates have been going up, where they're going, okay, is this the right thing for me to do? Well, I can't answer that for you, but here's the tools. Let's take a look. What can you afford? What can we go for? What happens if this rates go up by 1 or 2%? Where will your payments become? Are you comfortable with that? Some people like suggest if they're concerned about the rates going up, if they have the accessible funds, do the double up payments, do the extra money towards the mortgage. So when it comes out for renewal, it's not going to be as bad of an effect as they could be if they don't have the extra money put down on the property. So again, it's going to be each person's individual. We're going to look at them individually. We're going to have a conversation with them individually and say, okay, well, so where is your risk? Where are you? Are you comfortable with doing this? Are you concerned with this stuff? It's no different than investments. Like, do we have money? Are you, do you want to throw them into an equity fund where, or into a high yield where you're going to have significant risk versus safety? So you're gonna have
Uh,
people that are gonna look in. Yeah.
yeah, go ahead. No, no.
No,
You were
my apologies.
finished.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, no. The other thing too is that from CADREB and Fraser Valley Real Estate Board, I wouldn't say doom and gloom, but they've made it very clear in media releases month to month to month that we're fairly stagnant, if not worse. Is there light at the end of the tunnel? Are we going to have more inventory? Are things going to be opening up? Or are we just going to have to ride this out for possibly 1 to 3 years?
That's basically what we're going to have to do, is ride it out for 1 to 3 years. The reality is, if it is stagnant, we are, the amount of mortgages that we're in that are up, or the amount of properties being sold is significantly less. So again, it's, or if there's more buyers out there than there is sellers, all those things. It's back to, again, that whole cycle of things of, is it a buyer's market, or is it a seller's market? And right now it is a buyer's market. So I think there will be movement. There is still movement. I'm still doing mortgages, so that's a good sign for me. I'm not doing the mortgages I was last year, but I am doing I'm still doing mortgages. I'm probably at 60% of what we can do right now. So yes, there is still movement. It's just going to be slower for the next so long.
Don Krossa, RBC mortgage specialist. And if somebody wants to get a hold of you, you're all over social media?
I am. I got my name throughout. I'm on Snapchat. I'm on the oh my God,
Facebook, TikTok.
Facebook. There you go. TikTok got them
The
all.
long list, yeah.
Right. My actual primary is Raman Dillon, who is with RBC, and she's my primary. Where we work together as a group, and she's all over the system as well. There are business cards that are available as well. You can contact me at the 604-780-6494 at any time. I also have my work number that I just gave you my private number, but that's good because it's my life is 24/7 mortgages these days, so I'm good with that if I can bring in the business.
And on the bottom third on your screen, you'll see Don, the spelling of Don's name. You're trying to get a hold of him through RBC. Again, a big thank you, Don, for this.
You're welcome, and thank you.
You're welcome, and you're watching Chill TV's News of the Week. Chill TV's News of the Week, continuing with an old friend of ours, Andrew Crosbie of Rotary, on another edition of Rotary Corner, but it's that time of the year.
It is.
It is for the book sale of all book sales. It's still a little weird driving by the demauling, and a lot of it has been demalled, of the Chilliwack Mall, where the book sale was for so many years.
Yeah.
Of course, now it's at Heritage Park. Do you get the same feeling when you drive past? It's like you reminisce, or is it just you're glad you're in the new building?
I'm glad to be in Heritage Park.
Yeah.
I grew up here. I wasn't ever involved in the book sale at the mall, but from what I remember, it was a little bit scattered. It was kind of like, well, where's this category? Oh, it's over there and around a corner. And Heritage Park's such a big venue, and as we do it there more and more, there'll be more and more things going on there. So I'm really excited about it.
Give us the nuts and bolts of this year. I know you don't want donations at the door, and again, the book sale starts on Sunday the 30th and runs for the week, because you've got how many thousands of books?
So we're between 30 and 40,000 books. There's over 12,000 children's books, and then of course there's records, CDs, DVDs. So yeah, I mean, it's donations at the door wouldn't be great, but think about the logistical, nightmare that goes into transporting that many cages of books.
Yeah.
Like it's quite something, just everything getting there.
Yeah. Are you taking donations right now, though, at the site where we normally see the one in the summertime?
Absolutely. The Rotary Service Building. Yeah, we've got donation bins there. We've got year-round sorters, so there's lots of people there.
Now, bring your own bags. And that was something that I noticed. I was prepared, like many of us were. I mean, but there were some people that were kind of shocked, like, okay, where's the bags? And then now that we do not have a plastic bag allowance in the city, I guess, are you still getting requests, or not requests, but people asking about that? Do you provide bags?
So not too much. I mean, we keep reusable bags all year. We've been saving boxes because we get so many, donations in boxes. We've been saving the, kind of small to medium-sized ones. We actually have reusable bags, like Rotary book sale bags now that are available for purchase, so that's cool.
Oh, I want one. Now, I'll be there for the CDs anyway. You were saying off the air, though, there's some really cool history behind the book sale.
So the book sale has been going on since 1984. So that's years before I was born.
Oh, make me feel old. Yeah, thank you.
The first Dodge Caravan came out that year. Springsteen's Born in the USA was released.
Oh, my.
And the movie Footloose.
And I was 20 at the time. So I'm not going to hold that against you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate it.
Have we covered everything? Is there anything we still have to touch base on? Because I know there's some other projects that are coming down the pipe, but I guess the book sale's the big one.
That's the real big one right now. I mean, that's the one that's been going on for so long. That's where, we make money to support big projects, food hampers for families in need, the Rotary Trail, a number of things. I mean, the bigger projects too have contributed to, an emergency room upgrade at CGH. The Great Blue Heron Reserve has an outdoor classroom. Yeah. Like it goes a lot of places. Speaking
of which, you better give a plug out to Deborah Suter because she's so involved with that. And of course, Deborah just recently ran for city council. As always, Andrew, we'll definitely see you there. Now, do you have to do the grunt work and move the books yourself?
Oh, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be there.
Well, that's why he's so buff.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Again, a big thank you.
Thanks very much.
And again, it starts on Sunday and runs the entire week next week at Heritage Park. It's the Rotary Book Sale and another edition with Andrew Crosbie and Rotary Corner. You're watching chillTV's News of the Week.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Sports. It's Josh here with you once again. You know what? I don't feel like an intro. Let's, enough messing around. Let's just jump into it. Chilliwack Chiefs defenseman Liam Steele has been named to Great Britain's men's under-20 team for the upcoming IIHF World Hockey Championships. Team Great Britain will face Lithuania, Croatia, Romania, Spain, and the Netherlands in a 6-team Division II Group A competition held in Kaunas, Latvia. The event runs from December 11th to the 17th, with Chiefs associate head coach and assistant general manager Brad Ryla saying, quote, "We are all really proud of Liam. This is an incredible accomplishment for him to be able to represent his country. We look forward to watching him," unquote. This will actually be Steele's second time at the tournament. Last year, he helped his country win a bronze medal, so he'll be hoping for more this time around. Now, as ABBA once said, Friday night and the lights are low. Unfortunately, they were low for the Sardis Falcons senior varsity football team in Abbotsford last weekend. Sardis lost a closer game to the Panthers, 24-18. Next up is a home game at Exhibition Stadium against Mount Boucherie Senior Secondary School from West Kelowna at 4:30 on Friday. Given the weather the last few weeks, or months, we can't really complain about a little rain, but it was still nice to see the sun peek through the clouds on Saturday, and it made for a great day of football for the GW Graham Senior Varsity Grizzlies as they blew out Mount Boucherie Bears 69-7. Nice. Next up for the Grizzlies, WJ Mowat Hawks Friday night at 7 p.m. at Exhibition Stadium. Remember to dress for the rain and the cold. While Valley Husker fans were mourning not being able to see their boys in the BCFC Championship this weekend, the Okanagan Sun went and won the Cullen Cup, defeating the West Shore Rebels in a blowout 38-0. The Sun now moved to the Canadian Junior Football League semifinals and will travel to Windsor, Ontario this weekend to take on the St. Clair Saints. You can watch the game on Saturday at 4 p.m. local time on CJFLTV.com. Again, that's CJFLTV.com for that game. Chilliwack's Masters swim team scored 11 medals in the recent October 15th meet on the North Shore. For privacy, last names are not posted, but some of the highlights were Kate, who won gold in the 50-meter breaststroke, Andrew, who won gold in the 50-meter backstroke, Neil, who won gold in actually 3 events, 25-meter breaststroke, 50-meter breaststroke, and 50-meter free, and finally Paula, who took home gold in 200 meters and 100 meters freestyles. Congrats to the entire team on a highly successful weekend. Finally, the Chilliwack Minor Lacrosse Association's annual general meeting was October 19th at Sardis Sports Complex. President is Chris Charlton, and the VP of Operations is Mike Ortute. Chilliwack Minor Lacrosse Association are actually still accepting nominations for some vacant board positions for the Director of Novice and Peewee, Director of Bantam and Midget, Director of Female Divisions, and the always important Fundraising Coordinator. I'd offer myself, but transportation is going to be a problem at this juncture. All right, that's all we've got for sports today. Tune in next time as I try to find the rest of me. Happy Halloween, everyone.
Halloween weekend weather with Carrie Moore. Now, Carrie, are you going to scare us with this scary forecast?
Oh, Don, which one of you is the scary skull? We digress. I hate to say it, but the scariest thing this weekend that may be coming is, of course, the atmospheric river. In fact, back-to-back storms. Experts are warning people with high anxiety to have their therapists on speed dial. The good news is these systems are predicted to be a 1 or a 2 on the newly created atmospheric scale. And to put that into perspective, last November's event was estimated to be a 5, so way better. But it's not looking good for a dry Halloween this year. Your kids may hate you for this, but those amazing costumes that they've been bugging you to wear for at least a week and a half should be hidden under plastic bags. So if you're handing out candy, don't forget to give a little extra to those soaking wet parents. Back to you, Don, and your scary skull.
Thanks, Carrie, so long as it's nothing like last year. If you'd like to participate in reporting news in Chilliwack and you have a story you think that we should know about, him too, just send us a note to news@chilltv.ca. We'd love to hear from you. Have yourself a great, safe, happy Halloween. I'm Don Lehn.